Congratulations, this is the last video. Well, actually it's not, but more about that later. Congratulations for getting here to the final video in the Rapport Master daily training videos. Now, I don't know whether you've watched every single video, I don't know whether you've tried every single technique, but you've got here, and congratulations. Of course, you can go back and you can watch all of the other videos whenever you want. And like I say, there is more, but more on that later. So before we start today, there's something that I want you to just bear in mind before we start today. And that is that we communicate, and essentially there are three ways of communicating with people. The three ways of communicating with people are three of the five senses. So we can communicate with people visually, we can communicate with people auditorily, and we can communicate with people via the sense of touch. Now, of course, the sense of smell and the sense of taste, you can communicate information. A book or a room could smell very musty and old. Food could taste very fresh or very stale. However, largely in communication, these two elements are not used. Primarily, we communicate to people with the images that they see, and the moving images that they see, and by the sounds, by the words that we say. And of course, people make images and moving images in their minds, and they hear sounds and words inside their minds. Now the feelings, yes, we communicate a lot with feelings. Warmth, with the feeling of touching somebody, can be reassuring. We can comfort people. Largely, feelings are used by other people as a check, as a mechanism, so that if you present some information to somebody, visually or auditorily or a mixture of both, they input this information and then they will have a feeling about it. They will decide that yes, it's true, or no, it's not true, for example. Now, it doesn't matter whether it is true or whether it isn't true. You can believe and have a feeling that this is the right thing when actually the person is lying. Or the person can be a really, really genuine person telling you wonderful stuff, but for whatever reason, maybe you didn't believe that. Feelings largely are a check for the information that comes in visually and auditorily. So with that in mind, today, what I'd like to suggest to you is that throughout your day today, I want you to keep a very close eye on other people's communication and your communication, because every single action, every single piece of your behaviour will either affect in a positive or a negative way your communication. Now, we've looked at congruency. Yeah, I'm really excited. And we know that anyone that says something like that, they say, yes, I'm really excited, but in a dull tonality and with shaking head, the words are negated. People will not believe that the person is excited because of the body language and the tonality. And of course, when we talk about non-verbal communication, voice tone and pitch are the non-verbal elements, along with gestures. Every single action or gesture, even the ones that are outside of your control, doors slamming, something falling over, people coming in and talking, things that are even outside of your control will affect the meaning of your communication, will affect how well it is perceived and received. Whether you nod, whether you blink your eyes for a fraction of a second longer than you normally would, whether you have congruent body language, whether you are fluid with your movements or stiff and rigid, every single thing, every pause, every break in the rhythm, every lifting of an eyebrow, every single thing impacts your communication, the words, and it impacts it in either a positive or a negative fashion, depending on what you're talking about and what is happening. Today, I want you to keep in mind that absolutely everything you do, whether you look at the person, make eye contact, or you're not making eye contact, the obvious things, the smaller things, the whole package, all goes to add or detract from the meaning of your communication. So that's point number one. I want you to keep that in mind today. And like I say, sometimes things will happen that are outside of your control. Something will fall over and break, make a noise, people will come in. Stuff will happen. Now, any good hypnotist who's hypnotizing somebody will utilize anything that happens and bring that into the conversation, bring that into their presentation, bring that into the awareness of the people or person that they're talking with, hypnotizing. Utilization of anything. A good stage comedian will do the same. If something happens, they will incorporate it, turn it into a joke. Even a heckle from another person. They will incorporate that into part of their act, make it into a joke, and incorporate the whole thing. And the second thing that I want you to keep in mind today is that the emotional state that the people or group of people that you're communicating with are in whilst you communicate will have an enormous impact on your communication. To make things really memorable for other people, if they are engaged, emotionally engaged, when you deliver the critical elements, the critical points, when they are really emotionally engaged, excited or happy, enthusiastic, curious, when they're really engaged, then they will remember the message better. We know this from advertisers spending millions, billions even, some of the big brand names, creating, evoking feelings in us through their adverts, through the colours, sounds and music on the advertising in television and cinema. They create feelings when we watch the adverts, and then they flash up their product at the end, associating their product to the feelings they've created. We know this from they're playing our song, or from a tune, a piece of music that you heard so many times on a holiday 10, 12, 20 years ago, and you haven't heard that piece of music for ages, and you suddenly hear that song and it transports you right back to that wonderful holiday memory, because you associate those feelings. Now, when somebody is in a really curious state of mind, they're really curious to know something, and they're in that curious state, and then you tell them something, they will associate the curiosity or the happy or the excitement, they will associate those states. It will become much more memorable when your audience or the people, the group or the one person are emotionally engaged in the moment. What you say will be much more memorable. So this is the second thing that I want you to keep in mind today, is that people emotionally engaged in your presentation at the point of delivery of the information will remember so much more and think about it in that same favourable way. And be aware of absolutely everything in communication. So when you're watching other people and when you're communicating yourself, be aware of everything that you are communicating non-verbally. Today I want you to keep these two things in mind. Everything you're communicating non-verbally, you can go back through the 69 other videos plus all the bonuses and remember and look and go through some of all the techniques and all of the things, the skills, the tools that allow you to communicate more congruently, that allow you to communicate much more effectively. Remember some of them, go back through some of the ones that maybe didn't appeal to you the first time around, have a look at them this time. You've done some of the ones that you really enjoyed, and I recommend you do the stuff you really enjoy first, and then go back, have a look at some of the other things. build your skill set. Again, go back through and have a look at some of these things. Be aware of that today. Be aware that when you emotionally engage people, that they will be so much more part of your communication and remember it better. These are the two things that I want you to keep in mind today, and I want you to tie up with everything that we've looked at in the Rapport Master system so far. But it's not the end, it's just the beginning. A cliche maybe, but it is. It's the beginning of all of these skills pulled together so that you can go out and use them in the real world. And it's the beginning because it's the beginning of something new. Because unadvertised, when you signed up for this course, I have prepared a series of other video and audio presentations along with some PDFs that from time to time, for the next couple of weeks, for you to settle in with all the stuff, but after the next couple of weeks or so, from time to time, you will be receiving absolutely free content from me. You've paid up your full subscription, and I want to deliver more value. So I will be giving you videos, tips, tricks, more in-depth information about some of the deeper concepts of rapport that it's harder to get across in these short little videos. I know that the videos this week have been a lot longer, close to double the length of time, and some of the bonus videos you get are going to be a lot longer than that and contain a lot more in-depth information that will help you to pull them all together. There are also some surprises coming up in those videos and different things as well. So whilst you look forward to all of the stuff that is still yet to come, I want you to take that excitement and go out today with these two things in mind and have fun. Until we speak again, until I see you again, have a great day.